Hi, this is Lindsay O'Donnell with Threatpost. I'm here today at Black Hat USA 2019, and I'm joined by Erez Yalon with Checkmarks. Erez, how are you doing today?
Hi, Lindsay. I'm good.
Good, good. Excited for Black Hat?
Yeah, very excited, like every year. Black Hat and DEF CON.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have a couple of wild next couple of days for sure, with everything happening. So I wanted to just dive in real quick. You guys released some research having to do with security and privacy vulnerabilities in a kid's tablet at Black Hat. And, you know, obviously, there's a lot of implications for kind of child data privacy in this research. Can you kind of unpack the research for us? You know, what was the tablet in question? What did you guys discover in it?
Sure. Okay, so in Checkmarks, what we do as the research team is not only do the research of the products themselves of Checkmarks, but also we look at products of vendors just out there to see what's happening in the field and how bad things are. Any now and then we look at products that are aimed at children as users, but we look at everything. We look at everything that has software in it, and these days everything has software in it. We sometimes look at web applications, websites, mobile applications, IoT devices, and everything with software, as I said. This time we looked at a tablet by LeapFrog. It's called LeapPad Ultimate, I think. And the findings we had there kind of drove me, as a father myself, and drove me to look at the worst case scenario. So I'm a bit biased here by looking at the worst case scenario, but I think that every parent might do the same. So to discuss the vulnerabilities themselves, we can divide them into two groups, basically. One group is the things that we sometimes used to see in data breaches, privacy issues. We managed to see that some of the communication between the LeapPad and the servers is not encrypted, which allowed us to do something that is called a man in the middle, to place ourselves in the middle of the communication between the vulnerable device and the servers of LeapFrog. This allowed us both to actually eavesdrop on the communication and get a lot of data, which we will discuss in a second, and also to inject our own, let's call it, web pages to the users. So part of the data we managed to get out was the things that hackers look for: names, addresses, credit cards, with the issuing bank and the expiry date and all these good things.
Right.
But also the details of the users. And the users here, I remind you, are kids.
Right.
So we got the name of the kid, the name of the parent, the age of the kid, the address, a lot of things. A lot of things that kind of made us worry regarding that.
Right. I'm sure that makes a lot of people worry, I'm sure. So yeah.
So when we got all that, we felt we need to further investigate. And then we saw that this device has an application, a LeapFrog application called PetChat. And PetChat allowed us to do some more things. First of all, PetChat is not using the internet, and it's supposed to connect to other LeapPads to be able to give two kids or a kid and a parent the ability to chat between them. Since it's not using the internet, it's using an ad hoc connection that is started by the first device. And this ad hoc connection is easily detected by everyone around. So, for example, we tried to use a website called Wiggle. Wiggle just lists many kinds of connections all around the globe, and we managed to find these these connections, these ad hoc connections. And we can safely say that each of those connections means a LeapPad device, and these devices come attached to a kid.
Right.
Usually.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So after we managed to find that, we got to the scenario of someone that can find a house with a kid using this device, and then approaching it and use the attacks we discussed earlier, the man in the middle, to get all the information. And last but not least, there was no real authentication between two devices connecting, which means that the attacker or this person could impersonate as another device and connect to the device of the children by using Patchet. And then Patchet did something kind of smart, actually. They allowed only several specific words to be used in a chat, but still we managed to manipulate the words to create the sentence, "Let's go play outside."
Right. So you could potentially pretend to be, a parent sending that phrase, and even if it's preset, it could still say, "Come outside."
Come outside,
Right.
and the kids go out, and I remind you, I already know the name of the kid, the name of his parents,
Right.
etc.
It's very
And from
creepy.
here, you can use your own imagination.
Right.
So we have the first group of vulnerabilities we discussed that can give you information, but this is a very rare occasion, let's call it, that a software bug or software security bug is actually can be connected with safety or physical security.
Right. So the other set of bugs, they weren't tied to CVEs, right? Or were they?
No, we actually did not file for CVEs. We felt it's less relevant there because everything was taken care of very quickly, and it's not a third-party device or software that will be used by anyone else. So we didn't feel it's very important here. Also, most of it was fixed very, very, very quickly. I must say that LeapFrog showed us that we can still be surprised by the responsiveness of vendors. I'm really glad to say that the responsiveness and the way they took responsibility from day one was really amazing. It was something I don't think we ever seen before. They made sure that we were connected to their engineers to help them fix and see what can be done as much as possible. And eventually they even went the extra mile of removing the application Patchet from the stores altogether.
That's good. I like hearing kind of glass half full stories like that when it comes to vendor, and researcher disclosure, and So the Pet Chat app has been removed at this point. Are all the other flaws that are tied to the tablet at this point patched and updates are available? Or the coding has changed too? And
as far as we know, and we checked. LeapFrog released updates very quickly, everything regarding the tablet. The challenge was actually the Patchet application.
Right.
And when they could not solve it, first of all, they removed the problematic words as a quick solution. They tried to solve it in a more comprehensive way, but when they saw that it's either hard or not worth it, they just decided to remove the application completely, which is not an easy move, and it just shows that they really took the responsibility.
No, for sure. I'm curious, kind of taking a step back, what is your thoughts about data privacy and security when it comes to children, especially being a parent yourself? When we've seen like previous instances like the My Kayla doll and the Hello Barbie incident, if you remember that, years ago. So this has been around for a while, especially with more of these IoT connected devices and toys. Is there something that manufacturers should be thinking about? Or is there something parents should be thinking about on their end?
So I would say both. I think that vendors and manufacturers need to understand that creating devices for users that are underage, minors, children, it means two things. First of all, it means that the target is more problematic. I think that the results might be more catastrophic. Also, we're dealing here with users that are sometimes not really aware of the safety needed. Maybe they're more naive, so everything makes sense, even if for an adult it would not make sense that the patchet suddenly starts working, for example. So this is one thing. I think that vendors and manufacturers need to take a step up and make sure that everything that goes to children kind of goes through the thinnest sieve regarding security issues. And also parents. The fact that a device is not easily connected to the internet does not make it automatically safe. So I'm not saying not to use these devices, and I'm not saying to be panicked, but I'm saying that we need to put the same attention to these devices, to devices that are specifically designed for children, like any other device.
Right.